Zombies are now in live action Star Wars. Yep. Death Troopers have become Death Troopers. We're going to get into all of that, but first, my name is Star Raptor and welcome to the channel. We're going to be diving into some spoilers for the Ahsoka finale for episode 8 that is titled The Jedi, the Witch in the Wardrobe. I mean, the Warlord. Yeah, I got to keep making that mistake because I feel like that's a pun on that Narnia thing. But yeah, we're going to get into all of that in this episode. If you do like this content, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel as I talk about Star Wars in some way in a weekly based format on this channel. So getting into it, yes, we have Sabine, Ezra, and Ahsoka having to fight off zombie stormtroopers that were once Thrawns, and now they are been resuscitated by the Night Sisters. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the precedent of this already happening in other mediums of Star Wars, as well as its Legends counterparts, and why this is such a cool moment in Star Wars. Just for me personally, I just love the idea of an aesthetic of why can't you have zombies in Star Wars? It's just such a far-flung galaxy full of potential. It makes perfect sense that certain things would come up out of the ground or from a deceased body and reanimate itself to try to fight again. And that's what we see in this episode. And I feel like Disney nailed it. I feel like Lucasfilm nailed it. Just the noises that the stormtroopers were making, very unsettling, very Walking Dead-esque. Just the posturing, the unsettling movements, just the way they're shrugging off blaster bolts like it's, nothing, and just getting stabbed by lightsabers and still fighting on. I thought that it was very effective and very menacing and very terrifying just in time for Halloween here. It's a fantastic time to put this in. But yeah, we're getting to see the Night Sisters, and we've seen this before with the Night Sisters as far as, hey, they've done this in the Clone Wars when they resuscitated the Night Sisters to fight off the Separatists. We've seen it in Jedi Fallen Order on Dathomir as well, when Marin resuscitates them. We've never seen it on a different planet. Now, this planet Peridia is, stemmed obviously in Night Sister stuff. That's where they've come from. I thought that was really interesting. But yeah, I just absolutely loved the meta take of the Death Troopers fighting as actual Death Troopers, right? So the plan is the Death Troopers book came out before Rogue One, before the Death Troopers were a thing. And that's what Death Troopers were for everybody back in the day. It was like, oh, this awesome book by Joe Schreiber. He wrote this awesome horror Star Wars book. We don't get many of those, but this was absolute pinnacle horror in Star Wars of a Star Destroyer being taken over by this deadly virus, and it just turns everybody into a walking corpse that wants to eat and hunger and everything else. And you got survivors that are trying to run through there. Great book. So yes, that's Death Troopers. And then a couple of years later, Gareth Edwards directs Rogue One and puts literally Death Troopers that are not actually dead. They're just called Death Troopers because of basically, I guess, their reputation as being just absolute elite units that they just make things dead, right? These very tall, black encased armored superstars that supposedly have serum or something that makes them more powerful than the usual soldier in the Empire. So we're getting all these things combining. So it's really this awesome meta take where it's like, yeah, you have a Death Trooper in canon that has now become undead, like the Death Troopers in the Legends book by Joe Schreiber. And the idea of like these Death Troopers actually meaning business. They're holding off Ezra. They're holding off Sabine, who are, well, Ezra's definitely a Jedi, Sabine not so much at this point, but they are definitely giving her a run for the money, getting shot multiple times, seeing the actual skeletal face of this corpse through the shattered helmet was such a great take, and I absolutely loved it. Like, yes, there is no denying these things are undead, and they just fight. Even if they're impaled by a lightsaber, they continue to fight on until their head is basically just like severed off. Like, these things just do not die. I thought it was interesting that they had this kind of ritualistic ceremony with the night mothers, the great mother, saying like, oh, these are volunteers. Like, these guys, they're just not done. I like how they put that in there. These guys are just not eternity like this. They volunteer to be like, hey, we will be raised from the dead, and that's fine. So I like that idea, but this is just a video of me talking about how cool it is to see zombies in live action Star Wars. Such a nice little inclusion to some Legends lore in live action Star Wars. Death Troopers are actually Death Troopers. So what'd you think about this video? What'd you think about this moment in Star Wars canon? Let's talk about it in the comment section down below. As I mentioned off the top, I talk about Star Wars on a weekly basis. A lot of the publishing stuff, a lot of the gaming stuff are going to be the forefront of Star Wars fandom for the next several months. We're not going to be getting live action Star Wars for a long time. So make sure you go ahead. If you want to stay up to speed on the latest lore in Star Wars, that you hit that bell icon, that you're subscribed to the channel here at Star Raptor, and you'll be filled in with all the latest. That's going to do it for me, Star Raptor. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at StarRaptor.